All right, welcome back, everybody. As you know, we're not only covering the Ahmaud Arbery case, we're also covering the Kyle Rittenhouse case, which is back in verdict watch. And to give you a sense of what the jury might be considering, here was the part of the closing argument by Thomas Binger, part of the prosecution's closing argument. Take a look.
So I think it's helpful for us to take a look at this. So this is Exhibit 80, beginning with frame 356. At this point, you can see that Anthony Huber is staggering off after being shot in the chest. The wound has entered his lower left rib cage and has wound up almost exiting near his right shoulder. It has ripped through his ribs, his heart, his aorta, and he may not technically be dead, but he's going to be dead within a few seconds. He is stumbling away. The defendant has the weapon pointed towards Gaige Grosskreutz here, who is cowering, hovering, hiding, covering his head, trying to stay out of the way. And I'm going to go frame by frame here slowly as we see the movement. Now we see the gun is moving down towards Gaige Grosskreutz. It is pointed directly at him from a distance of just a couple of feet. Gaige Grosskreutz has his right leg planted as if he's pushing backwards, trying to get away. The gun is still pointed at him. The defendant here is going to adjust the gun, turn it over as if he's making some sort of adjustment on it. Gaige Grosskreutz testified that this was a movement that he interpreted as the defendant preparing that gun as if it was going to fire again, as if clearing a jammed round so that he could shoot it at Mr. Grosskreutz. At this point, Mr. Grosskreutz is, I think, probably thinking to himself, if I can get away, I will, until he realizes that the defendant is getting ready to fire again.
All right, so now let's go to Angenette Levy, who is live outside of that courthouse with the very latest. Angenette, good to see you again. What have we heard so far since we last checked in with Verdict Watch?
Good morning again to you, Jesse. The jury returned here at 9 o'clock Central Time and resumed its deliberations. That would be 10 o'clock Eastern Time, of course. And that is a jury of 7 women and 5 men, 1 person of color. The remaining jurors are white. The alternates also are here because the judge wanted them to stay, the prosecutor wanted them to stay, and also the defense attorney wanted them to stay here in case one of them or more needed to be restored to the jury of 12. So those deliberations now have been going on for about 9.5 hours at this point. They're considering whether or not Kyle Rittenhouse, of course, acted in self-defense or whether or not he committed crimes, including murder and reckless homicide. So there are a number of lesser charges the jury is also considering related to the death of Anthony Huber and the shooting of Gaige Grosskreutz. Now, something new this morning that we can tell you about, the defense has now filed a second motion for a mistrial with prejudice, and they are claiming in this motion that there was some high-resolution drone video that they were not provided before the start of the trial. They said they got that after the trial. They said they were given a lower resolution copy that was about 3.6 megabytes, and they say that they received after the trial a higher resolution copy that was more than 11 megabytes. So they are asking for a mistrial with prejudice yet again. This is the second motion for a mistrial with prejudice that the defense has filed. The judge has not ruled on either one, so it'll be interesting to see what comes of those 2 motions.
As we last checked in, that crowd has gotten bigger on those courthouse steps. Walk me through what you're seeing.
Yeah, so Jesse, there are people who want Kyle Rittenhouse to be convicted who are here. They are Black Lives Matter supporters. And then there are also supporters of Kyle Rittenhouse's. There was a gentleman out here with a megaphone yesterday. He returned today. Today he brought a rifle with him, and apparently he was told by deputies, no, put that back. You need to get that out of here. So we've been told he was asked to put that away, not having the rifle on courthouse property. At this point, everything's peaceful, though. People are just kind of standing back there milling around. We haven't seen any of those skirmishes that we saw yesterday.
We'll see how the day unfolds, especially, as you said, when there's an announcement of a verdict. I'm sure that crowd will get a lot bigger. Angenette Levy, thank you so much for reporting on what's happening today, and we're going to check in later as well as we hear maybe a possible verdict today in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. A lot of eyes on that trial. Angenette, thank you so much. So we are going to take a quick break on our end, but when we come back, if we don't have an update in Rittenhouse, we're going to jump back live in the Ahmaud Arbery case, because as we talked about, there are some serious motions being considered by the court, motions for a judgment of acquittal. Will any of the charges be dismissed before they go to a jury? We'll wait and see. Stay with us here on Law&Crime. We'll be right back.
It was the video that shocked the nation. An unarmed black jogger, 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery, gunned down in broad daylight. The three-man charge will now stand trial. For live gavel-to-gavel coverage of the trial, subscribe to Law&Crime on YouTube TV today.